Here we have a pre-owned 2011 Lincoln MKX. This one comes in the beautiful candy metallic tint coat. And then we have a light tan perforated leather interior. The powertrain consists of a 3.7 liter naturally aspirated V6 engine, mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. And this one has just under 107,000 miles on it. But coming around the front end here, I love how it's pretty similar to that MKT that was out back in that time. And we do have fog lights as well as high intensity discharge headlamps. And this one actually seems to still be in pretty good shape. Very few rock chips on the front here. And the paint looks immaculate still. And down here we have 18-inch wheels. I love that chrome finish, still looks good. We get passive keyless entry on the front, power door lock controls, power mirror controls. So you can pick a side and adjust, and lock them out there. One-touch automatic up and down windows for the front, regular power windows for the back, and then we can lock our rear windows there. And I love the wood grain throughout, looks super nice. And then bottle holder here, tons of storage. And over here we have our fog light controls, headlamp controls, and then we can adjust the brightness of the gauge cluster, pop that power lift gate, and then memory seat functions are here. Just pick how you want to sit and then hold that down till it clicks at you, or beeps at you, excuse me. Then we have a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And then we have our power driver seat with power lumbar support. And just a little bit of wear from the jeans over the year, but still has held up pretty nicely. But I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. So let's go ahead and check out this rear space. So not terrible leg room. These seats are huge. Can't even fit my hand around them, so that takes up a lot of the space. And then you have rear seat back pockets on both sides, rear AC vents, and then a 12-volt down there. But the seats here are super comfy. Now the seating position, someone my size, I have about 3-4 inches of headroom, so that's not the issue. It's just where my legs are sitting. And then here you have your cup holders. And I like how they did that too, that's pretty neat. And then probably hang 3 or 4 hooks on this hanger, so that's impressive. And then for the back, we do have heated outboard seats. So you have 2 stages there. But all in all, still pretty impressed by this vehicle. And a huge shout out to Ford, Lincoln, and Franklin for allowing me to review it today. I'll leave a link below for it in the description below. But here's that sticker that they have there with all the features. Let's make our way towards the back. We do have a fuel filler here, which is nice. And then coming around to the back, if you ever need the spare tire, it's underneath here. And even that's tucked away nicely, very fancy. And then over here, we can power fold our rear seats from the back, which is cool, 12-volt. And then we can close the hatch by hitting that button there. And down below, dual exhaust. Look underneath the vehicle. But I really love just the overall look of this. It looks super sleek even today. And if you want to fold that back up, pretty easy to just pull up on it. And you can also fold it down flat from up here as well. And pretty easy to just pull it back into place. And then power front passenger seat, pretty much identical adjustability to the driver's side. So we have our lumbar support here, seat back, seat bottom. Glove compartments here. Turn this fan down a little bit. And we still have the owner's manuals in here. It's a 12-volt over here. And there's one quick look with the fog lights on. And then next I'm gonna go ahead and pop the hood and we'll take a look at the engine bay. And there's that 3.7 liter V6, mostly covered up there. Now let's go ahead and hop back in the driver's seat. So I love the steering wheel in these. You can heat it. I'll show you where the button is for that after a while, but I love how they just threw that wood grain on top of there. Super sleek in my opinion. Now over to the radio here, I have the climate controls set up. So we get dual zone automatic climate controls. You can adjust fan speed here and then temperature, and then we can set the dual mode by clicking it or by adjusting the temperature here. 3-stage heated cooled seats for the front. We can adjust where the airflow comes from there. Defrosters are here, and then you have buttons reiterated here, and then you can use this to actually toggle your fan speed, which I'm kinda I don't know how I feel about it, but it's not terrible. It just kind of gets annoying, but I love how it lights up. If you look closely, it lights up as you click certain parts and as you scroll through, so it kind of picks that up. Pretty neat. And then seek buttons here, tune buttons here for the radio. And you can turn the whole AC off, and you can turn the whole radio off. That's kind of like a mute button. I'm gonna turn that back up a little bit because it's kind of hot. But that's the view you get there. And to get to that, you just hit that bottom right, and you have your quick shortcuts here as well for the cooled seats, heated seats, and the heated steering wheel. And then you can connect your Bluetooth device there. And then you also have AM, FM, XM radio. So when I hit entertainment, it'll take me into that. And then you have your Bluetooth audio as well. SD card reader, if you want to use that, I'll show you where that is in a minute. Still have a CD drive in this one. Hazards are there. I'll move the shifter out of the way, but there you have audio video inputs, SD card reader, 2 USB-A ports, little storage pocket there. And then for the shifter, pull the lever, reverse, neutral, drive, manual mode, and then you can manually shift here, and it'll show you what gear you're in on that left side of the gauge cluster by the tachometer. 2 cup holders here, and then tons of storage space, and a 12 volt in there. You can even put your change in there if you want to. Universal garage door transmitter, sunglasses holder. And then for the dome lights, I love how they still look super nice. They're not LED, but still, they look beautiful. I mean, that reminds me of my granny's Lincoln. She had like an 89 or something. And it had lights that looked like that, so it's still pretty impressive. And then cruise control on and off there. Cancel, resume, set, and then you use these 4 arrows and the OK button for the left side of the gauge cluster. So whether you want the fuel economy, there's so many. I love these radios because, well, the gauge cluster in these, because you have digital on either side and you can adjust and view so many things. Excuse me. Then you have your windshield wiper controls here. Sorry, your blinkers are here. And then high beams are there. You can toggle those on and off by flipping that switch. And then over here you have your windshield wiper controls. So you can set your auto wipers here, or that's how you use the windshield wipers. And then you can set the sensitivity of the autos there. And then you have your low and your high there. And then front windshield wipers there, rear wiper fluids here. You can adjust that to 1 or 2 there as well. And then to the right side, Bluetooth, voice recognition, volume, seek, so track list, radio station presets. And then here you can go through the right side of the gauge cluster and actually decide what you want to do with your entertainment, phone, climate controls, all that. So super neat that you can do that and actually adjust your AC controls from right here. But there's our push button start. And finally, here's our key fob with remote start. And now let's go ahead and take this 2011 MKX out on the road for a quick test drive. So starting the test drive in this MKX, very impressed by how well it still rides. Ride quality is pretty great. Still drives nice. And everything still feels luxurious. But I'm also just impressed by the 3.7 still holding up. Now, of course, this was the Lincoln equivalent to the Ford Edge. So both of those vehicles had that 3.7 liter V6, the 6-speed automatic. And I know for a fact, my mom had a 11 Edge, and these just really, especially up to that 100,000 mile mark, have very little problems if you take care of them. So keep the oil change in them, so on and so forth. The 6-speed is gonna drive pretty much the same as it did new, and then the V6 is pretty much gonna be just as potent as it was new. Again, keeping up with the maintenance and all that. But just didn't hear that many problems out of them to around this point. Now, I don't know, I've seen a few that have 170, 180,000 miles on them that need this and that, but I don't really remember them needing engines or transmissions. But of course, with most things, as you start to age, things will go wrong. So, but I love how powerful this engine was and is. And I started going to, I think, the 3.5, and then maybe the 2-liter turbo, and then the 2.3, and it's, Ford has so many powertrain options now, it's crazy. But the 3.7 was just a sturdy workhorse for the most part. If you just wanted to drive around, you're getting 19 miles per gallon, city, like 24, 25 highway, something like that. And around that time, everybody thought that was great. But nowadays, if you're not getting 30, you're not really doing it. And even then, I did a review on the Escape with a 2-liter EcoBoost, which is crazy fast. And it's just funny how people are complaining about 32 miles per gallon. And I'm like, 10, 15 years ago, we were only getting 10, 12. So, but this was just a good first step in that direction of having a vehicle that was 2 rows, somewhat roomy, and you weren't driving a minivan. But ride quality here is still pretty nice, similar to the Edge. But I mean, the interior for the most part seems to have held up, other than that spot I showed you all earlier on the side of the seat bottom, where it looks like rubbing around in the jeans too much kind of messed that up. I'm gonna give it some throttle here getting on the interstate. So again, I didn't put my foot all the way down, but still pretty powerful. I'm gonna turn the cruise on. Now, one issue that I had with these cars, and it wasn't really an issue, but you had to get used to it, was the blinker. So you turn the blinker on, you have to pull it all the way up, and then to turn it off, you have to hit like a sweet spot without going all the way down and then putting the left blinker on. So that was kind of gimmicky in my opinion, but for the most part, it kind of made it feel fancy at the same time. But still, this one in particular has held up nicely, from the powertrain, everything running good, to the radio still working. Still in your face sound system, pretty loud. So I like that, even though I don't think this is the THX system that was available. So still sounds good. And everything just seems to be in good order here, even after a little over 10 years. So with that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2011 Lincoln MKX with all-wheel drive.